man talking. And 3. Werewolves. And 3. Werewolves retain anthropomorphic. Oh God. And 3. Werewolves retain anthropomorphic joints and lack a tail. Yet the head becomes decidedly lupine or canine. Not 100% sure which, but maybe closer to a baboon. Ears are definitely canis, but remain mostly on the side of the head. One of these ones. 3. Werewolves retain fucking hell. Alright, we'll just do this regular voice, fam. I can't do it with a fucking accent as well. Agreed, my lady, city dweller. Agreed, my lady, city dweller. Agreed, my lady, city dweller. Oh my God. Agreed, my lady, city dweller. Let's see what we have so far. In general. She saw no sign of the other woman. Perhaps she had picked up her pace and made it over the hill and out of sight. Her heart leapt and adrenaline coursed through her body. Adrenaline. But I have never gone so far as to, unquestioningly. But I have never gone so far as to, unquestioningly. But I have never gone as far. But I have never gone so far as to, unquestioningly. But I have never gone so far as to, unquestioningly. Fucking. I'm not the kind of person who believes in the paranormal, not without what I would consider to be definitive proof. Sure, I'm willing to admit I indulge in tales of the cryptids and enjoy theorizing that perhaps, somewhere, somehow, some aberration of natural life has evolved into the lesser-known places of the world without us knowing.
Oh, that was really good. I like that. I was just thinking, I like that tone. You're not feeling it today, but that was lovely. I could quite happily fall asleep.
I'm not the kind of person who believes in the paranormal. Not without what I would consider definitive proof. Sure, I am willing to admit I indulge in tales of cryptids and enjoy theorizing that perhaps, somewhere, somehow, some aberration of natural life has evolved in the lesser-known places of the world without us knowing. But I've never gone so far as to unquestioningly commit myself to the belief that things like Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Dogman, Mothman, and all those kind of things. Commit myself to the belief that things like Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Dogman, Mothman, and all of those kind of things. Fuck! The one with rudimentary space travel and complex machinery for the purpose. Doesn't mean it doesn't have tons of ingredients magic uses. Oh, come on, prick. Doesn't mean it doesn't have tons of ingredients magic users deeply desire. Chisar the Cruel, or Chis to his fellow lowlifes. His traffic. Chisar the Cruel, or Chisar the Cruel, or Chiz to his fellow lowlifes. Or Chiz to his fellow lowlifes. And he traffics in, oh, for fucking the love of God. Chisar the Cruel, or Chis to his fellow lowlifes. Think of themselves under fire, the posse blindly shot back. The growing volume of gunfire covered the howls that Think of themselves under fire, the posse blindly shot back. The growing volume of gunfire covered the howls that streamed through the crew. What streamed? Think of themselves under fire, the posse blindly shot back. The growing volume of gunfire covered the howls that streamed through the trees. Amid the gunfire and confusion, no one saw the tall man drop to all fours and charge through the flames and flying bullets. Nate reached over Nick's fallen body and put a bullet in the forehead of one of the Hotchkiss's men. Nate reached over Nick's fallen body and put a bullet... Nate reached over Nick's fallen body and put a bullet in the forehead of the one of Hotchkiss's... Nate reached over Nick's fallen body and put a bullet into the forehead of one of Hotchkiss's men. Nate pulled himself free of the house and helped Nick try to stand, but Nick's leg refused to support him. Nate threw a shoulder under Nick's and steadied him as they hobbled towards the barn. Jack kicked the body of Gus Harmon away to burn under the collapsing house. Despite the burning house, Jack kicked the body of Gus Harmon away to burn under the house. Jack kicked the body of Gus Harmon away to burn under the collapsing house. Jack rolled onto his stomach, drew a... Jack rolled onto his stomach, drew a bead, and shot young Jimmy Weston in the back. The shot caught Jimmy. Short. Jack rolled onto his stomach, drew a bead, and shot young Jimmy Weston in the back. The shot caught Jimmy between the shoulder blades and pierced his heart as it exited his chest, and Jimmy fell face down in the Texas dust. You are currently property of the United States Special Situations Task Force. Whew, that's a sentence. You are currently property of the United States Special Situations Task Force. Damn right, I'ma do it again. Damn right, we will do it again. They are kind of hard to tell. They are kind of hard to tell apart, Nate said. There was no time for us. There was no time for her friends. Fuck! There was time for her friends. There was more time for work. There was time for chasing dreams. There was even time for that damn dog. There just wasn't time for me. I went crazy. I needed her so bad. And I went crazy. I needed her so bad. Couldn't she see that? For examining why I'm wrong. Well, I wasn't the one who I wasn't the one who got dissected by her tongue this time. Let's get straight into that. One man did more than that. He returned to Mad Ape Pass because he had a score to settle. His thoughts were interrupted, though, when he heard the all-too-familiar hooting. Once again, a wanker's in the stairwell. Well, Henry shook his head. I don't think so. Look, most of the supplies are here and the guns. Well, Henry shook his head. I don't think so. Look, most of the supplies are here and the guns, he said, pointing around them. Also, where are the bodies? So, how's our detainee? Henry asked, a little nervousness in his voice. Oh, great. Henry asked, a little nervousness in his voice. The horse finally disappeared around the bend and Henry sighed, turned and took a few steps. A distant roar and screeching whinny made him look back in a direction it had gone, freezing in place when his eyes fell on a man. No. No. No? No. Not a man. No, not a man. He wasn't sure what it was, but it was tall, muscular, and covered in golden brown hair or fur. That's what Jeffro said he saw. A goddamn monster, Henry said, feeling sick to his stomach. And someone else noticed the beast, screamed and fired. The shot missed, striking a tree behind it and sending it into a fit of rage. The creature charged the line and was met with a hail of gunfire. I was struck multiple times and collapsed onto the ground. A roar from the other side of camp got everyone's attention, and they rushed to meet it, seeing another of these things coming at them, and the men aimed and fired, dropping it halfway from the woodline to the camp. Now, sounds of fury erupted from all around them as dozens of these things came rushing from the forest in every direction. Whew. As he stepped in, he looked around at a group of elders as well as the thing that had been carrying him. And strangely, he wasn't afraid. Maybe it was the fact that if it had wanted to kill him, it already would have. It was also that none of the natives were afraid, so there was no need to be. He was shown a place to sit and helped into it. A pipe was lit and passed around and words were spoken, but he still didn't understand. A pipe was lit and passed around and words were spoken, but he still didn't understand them. And finally, all but one of the elders and the creature left. I don't suppose it speaks, he asked, pointing to the creature sitting with them. No. Those on the far end of town heard the screams and grabbed their weapons, but were not fully prepared for what they were about to come into contact with. It didn't take long for the town people to realize that they needed to band together if they stood any hope of surviving. And everyone made for the train, piling into the cars and barricading them as best they could. They shot through open gaps left in the windows and doors, only opening up to take in more survivors. A few were reunited, but the death toll was staggering. In a little more than an hour, over 60% of the town was gone. Those that remained huddled in the train cars, hoping to be rescued. Mound of wood by a pair of gugwe that had snuck up from the other side. The conductor was now at the door. Fucking hell. The conductor was now at the door begging for it to be opened. He put his weight into the door, forcing it open enough to get a foot in, and then tried to squeeze through the narrowing opening. All convoy vehicles, stand by to move. Janet, please contact headquarters control. On the convoy slowly began to crawl forward. Oh, fucking hell, Matt. Read the fucking words on the page. The advance was now 1/8 of a mile in 6 or 7 hours. The mammoth machines lumbered and strained to the place, but even with the vast horsepower available, it was just a snail's pace that could be achieved and maintained within safety margins. The cloudless day had blossomed bright and warm. Her mother, seeing the weatherman had gotten it right, took advantage of what was forecast to be the last warm day of fall and announced there would be a party. It was Veterans Day. Time for one more barbecue before putting up the grill in the winter. Let's get straight into that. Just down this way, best fishing I've ever seen, ever since the big storm. Don't know why, but everything in this part of the river is bigger and meaner than it was. Just down this way, best fishing I've ever seen, ever since the big storm. Don't know why, but everything in this part of the river is bigger and meaner than it was. Johnny Ho said over his shoulder to his cousin Dong and their friend Ray. Kinda weird stuff for a while. Mostly gone now, but the fish is still big and wow. Just down this way. Best fishing I've ever seen. Ever since the big storm. Don't know why, but everything in this part of the river is bigger and meaner than it was. He led them through the overgrowth and along the San Jacinto River, just west of the bend for Black Cat Ridge, and headed towards Crazy Coon Hill. It was rough country, but he'd travelled it frequently in the past 2 years. He paused when he noticed a faint. He paused. He paused when he noticed... No. He paused when he noted a face grinning at him at eye level. He paused when he noted a face grinning at him at eye level, a malevolent face with dark markings around the eyes, like a mask. He quickly realized that it was one of the freaky raccoons perched in a tree. Dong had not seen their visitor, but Ray had. He and Johnny had lived in the area their entire lives and had encountered the freaky rockets only for the past couple of years. Locals called them that after the Marvel character, though these things were different. They had faces. He gave Johnny a look, but they kept trekking forward. They came out of the jungle a little west of the normal fishing hole, near the top of a small... They came out of the jungle a little west of the normal fishing hole, normal... Fucking focus, you prick. They came out of the jungle a little west of the normal fishing hole, near the top of a small rise that dropped precipitously to the river. An old tree stood at the apex of the rise. A battered and broken limb hung out over the flowing water, and with the remnants of the rope swing from happier days, dangling and swaying with the slight breeze. A man who could possibly